Hello, everyone, and welcome to the W2 Amigos podcast, where we talk about passive investing, real estate, and all the money moves you can make while working your W2 so you can establish your financial freedom. Here to talk about the W2 journeys, your host and amigos, Nick Coulter and Xavier Marin. Nick, what's up, man? How you doing today?
Good, man. Good, man. Had a good afternoon, solid day at work, knocked out a bunch of stuff, and then came home and had two client calls with folks looking to house hack, one in San Diego and one in the Empire. So hopefully we can get those guys going, get them on a contract, and get them new deals at the beginning of the year. What about you, man? What you got going on?
Good stuff, man. I'm finally recovering from like this 8-day cold / I don't know what the hell I've been having. So feeling a lot better now. I know we were trying to record yesterday and I did not sound good. So we kind of punted today. Feeling a lot better. Outside of that, got to spend some time out there in California, the Bay Area with my family. So had a great Christmas out there. Went to my sister's graduation. So a lot of family time the past couple of weeks has been great.
Hey, man, I appreciate you covering for me, saying that it was your voice that didn't let us record. In reality, my computer restarted out of nowhere, and my boomer ass couldn't figure out how to turn it off and like get it to work again. I was like, help. And you were like, honestly, man, like I kind of sound like crap. We could just do it later. And I was like, all right, sounds good. So I just headed to the gym. So I appreciate you covering me for the listeners, man. You got my back.
Yeah, I got you, man. Nick sends me a picture of like 90% green screen or blue screen. He's like, what is going on? What do I do? And then like 2 minutes later, the screen is now black. I love the play-by-play.
So, you're like the only person I talk to outside of my wife all the time. So, when you get the notification, you can like delay it and you could say, oh, reset tomorrow or whenever. And like, you can control that. I had updated the computer the week before because it gave me that notification. And I was like, I might as well do it when we're like basically on break and not have to do it when we're recording. And I did it, and apparently there was a secondary update, and it did not give me that warning. It just stopped in the middle of our first call. I was like, what the hell's going on? So, yeah. But we're back. We thrive, we survive. We're back, baby.
We're back. So, speaking of which, Nick, we're back. What are we talking about today?
Man, we're talking about goal setting. So, I think you and I had some really productive moves in 2022, obviously we started the world's best W2 investing podcast that ever existed. So that is like huge in itself, but we also just accomplished a lot of our goals, which I wanted to share. You wanted to share kind of how do we do that? How do we set our goals? How do we execute them? How do we track them? Because you and I had a good year and we haven't had great years in the past. So there was definitely a lot of stuff that we did differently this year versus last. And then later, and not now, but a different episode, we'll kind of talk about our individual goals for the year and kind of cover what we're going to do to accomplish those. So pretty excited. It seems to be the theme in the podcast realm. A lot of episodes like that coming out right now. So, hop on the train and give you the best advice possible.
All right. I'm going to mark clip real quick. You sound like I can still hear you. It's not as clear though. It sounds just slightly muffled.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Mm-mm.
Hold on.
Let me check your settings real quick to see how your
echo cancellation is on. My mic is showing like, okay, is that better?
So, one more time.
Is that better?
Oh, yeah.
Much better?
Oh, much better.
Oh, I think Evelyn may have messed with my mic while I was gone then.
Much better. I mean, I could still hear you. Just like I could just tell it was something just a little bit off right now.
Yeah, she messed with the gain on my mic.
Gains.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, fuck. We're recording on that.
Damn it. I mean, we just clip it, bro.
I know. Weird flex.
Weird flex. Okay. All right. So where you want to take it from the top? I think we're good with what you recorded, so I think we're good. So we think we can just jump into it.
Yeah. You ready?
All right. So you're gonna jump into it?
Yep.
All
right, guys. So one of the things we wanted to discuss is both X and I have had pretty detailed training in the continuous improvement realm with our W2, but then also the Pareto rule, which is the 80-20 rule. Essentially, 80% of your outcomes can be achieved by 20% of your effort. So really laser focusing on how you can accomplish goals and tasks and productivities or whatever. And we like to take that from the business world and kind of apply it to our regular lives. So today we kind of wanted to talk about lag lead metrics. What are they? How do they apply to our business? How do they apply to our personal lives? And how we can use that to set goals. So X, I don't know if you want to kind of kick it off with what is a lag metric? What are the things that we should include in those lag metrics? And how do we start from there?
Yep, absolutely, man. So lag metric essentially is, it's the end goal, essentially. It's after the fact. right? So if you essentially say, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds this year, that is technically a lag metric, right? So it's going to be the end result, where a lead metric is going to be what are the things that you're doing in order to be able to attain that goal of losing 40 pounds. So I think that's where a lot of people end up, unfortunately, failing with some of their goals, is that they go ahead and set lag metrics and they don't have anything in the middle or in the beginning, like leads, to hold them accountable so you can easily track how they're progressing to their essentially your overall goal.
Yeah. And I people, I watch them every year. They start out, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to make more money. I want to have a better relationship with my husband or wife. Then they just don't take any action. It's just like out there. And what we really like about this principle, and it's funny, you W2 investors, you take things from your professional career and apply it to your personal life often, I'm sure. We're doing the same thing here. What I really like about it is it creates a roadmap for us to be able to achieve that success, which I think is dope because I like planning, and a poorly executed plan is going to be, a properly executed poor plan will perform better than a great plan that is poorly executed. And I really stumbled through that one, so I'm hoping Hex can edit some of that so I sound less like an idiot. But you guys know what I mean. Like, you can have a great plan. If you execute it like crap, it's not going to do anything. But if you have a decent plan, you execute it super well, it's going to deliver better results. And I think the lag lead metrics is something that really, really helps. So if you're IDEX, I kind of like to give an example of what I considered a lag and lead metric for my last year's success, and kind of reference it to the year before and how that didn't work out for me.
Let's do it.
All right. So one of the goals that I hit in 2022, I was able to obtain my real estate license. The sad thing is that was a goal in 2021. So why was I not able to accomplish it in 2021? Because I sat down with my, then girlfriend, now wife, Evelyn, and we were like, cool, we're going to do all these things. And I wrote down on like a yellow sticky pad, like, I'm going to get shredded. I'm going to get my real estate license. I'm going to get promoted. But I didn't take it anywhere after that. And that's where I fell short. So my lag was get my real estate license in 2021 and 2022. The difference is I set my lead metric up in 2022 to be, I needed to practice and study real estate for 30 minutes a day. And that was every single day, Saturday to Sunday, every single week, 30 minutes a day. And what I found is I was super consistent with my Monday through Friday study of real estate. I was averaging almost an hour, less consistent on the weekend, but just the fact that I was able to accumulate those 5-6 hours of studying every single week, I was able to obtain and get my license in July of this year. And it's funny, I had a full year, 2021, didn't get it done, but I got it done in 6 months of really like deliberate planning and execution, just by creating a lead metric. And that lead metric was, did you study real estate for 30 minutes today? Yes or no?
I love that, man, because essentially what you're doing is you're breaking your overall goal into pieces. Because for you to say, all right, my goal is to get my license by, within a year, it can be a pretty daunting task. It's like pretty much when you're having to read an entire book, you're just like, hey, I'm just going to read one chapter a day. That's it. If it's 20 chapters, I'll be done in less than 3 weeks. That's essentially what you did there. And it makes the goals a hell of a lot more attainable, and you're able to see the progress as well.
Yep, absolutely. So one of the additional tools we have at work, which I think is super neat, and hopefully we don't lose followers from using the word neat like that, because, I'm getting older. I should throw on my glasses because I'm feeling pretty old right now. But what I find super neat is what we have in our business. We call it like a Pareto or an action item. So basically, we track on our performance metrics. Let's say our lag metric is to lose 10 pounds, right? Our lead metric would be to meal plan and meal prep every week. So you're going to meal plan Sunday, you're going to meal prep Sundays and Thursdays, let's just say. Those are your lead metrics. You can track those. Paretos, or the next line item down, is your daily activities. What are you doing every single day to make sure that gets done? So for me, if I was breaking out my how-to guide to really crush your goals in 2023, I would take meal planning and I would say, okay, I need to eat at least 225 grams of protein every day. That would be my first line item on my daily checklist. The second one would be I need to walk 10,000 steps a day. That would be my second line item on my checklist. My third line item would be I need to get my ass to the gym every day, even if it's just to hit the sauna. I want to build the habit of going to the gym so that I can work out 3 to 4 times a week, which is my commitment. Those would be the 3 things I track. And I wouldn't really pay attention to the lag goal of losing 10 pounds because I know if I meal prep, I eat 225 grams of protein, and I make sure that I'm walking 10,000 steps a day and going to the gym every day, I'm going to hit that 10 pounds. So I don't really care about the lag as much. I care more about what I'm doing every single day to get to that lead, which then feeds into that lag, if that makes sense for everybody.
Yep. No, that makes sense. And to add on to that, Nick, it's also having some good resources and tools around you. So not only tracking that, but, going back to the fitness example here, you and I use, I've used it on and off, probably going to get back onto it next year, but MyFitnessPal, that is a great tool for me to be able to track how much protein I'm consuming, how many calories I'm consuming, how many times I'm working out. I'm able to see that, if I'm in a calorie deficit or not. So again, those kind of tools can help supplement kind of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I'm big into habits. So if you guys haven't already, I think I plugged it on the show a couple of times. James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, it really paints your picture of how do you create good habits. And one of the examples he gave is someone was trying to lose 200 pounds and he did it by going to the gym just for 5 minutes a day. And that was only his commitment. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do 5 minutes. Even if that 5 minutes is walking on a treadmill, I'm going to do it. Some days he walked for 5 minutes and he took his ass home. Some days he walked for 5 minutes and said, you know what? I could probably do a set of chest press. And then he did a set of chest press. And it was I could probably do 3 or 4 more sets. I'm feeling pretty good. He did 3 or 4 more. I could do a set of squats. And then he did 3 or 4 sets of squats. So then it feeds into you building that habit. Because if I were to tell you, X, dude, I want you to lose 25 pounds and I need you to go to the gym for 2 hours a day, every single day, walk 10,000 steps, eat perfectly clean, you're going to lose 25 pounds in 2 months. But it's so unobtainable. You can't eat the elephant all in one bite. You got to take it bite at a time. It makes it an unrealistic goal, which then sets you up for failure, in my opinion.
Yeah. And to add to, it doesn't become sustainable long-term. It doesn't really become a habit. Right. Yep. So if I view myself as someone that it has to have some type of workout or daily, some type of activity throughout the week, right? Whether it's walking, going to the gym, that is part of me now. And it's ingrained in me. If I was doing certain sprints at a time, great, I get my goal within the 3-4 months, whatever that is. But what about those other 8 months? What happens there? So the intent is for you to kind of build those habits in and kind of identify yourself as I'm someone that goes to the gym and loves to work out. I'm an athlete. So when you have that mindset, you start doing things like that too.
Dude, let's touch on that a little bit. So I think that mindset, that shit is just mind expanding. So when I think of mindset, I am a person that is fit. What is a person that's fit? They do? They go to the gym. They eat well. I am that person. You and I had this conversation 4 years ago. And it's we are real estate investors, even though we don't have a deal yet. But what do real estate investors do, X? They save money. They go to meetups. They make a lot of money at their W-2s to be able to buy these deals. They talk to real estate agents. They go and do calls. They do all this stuff. And we started doing that. And then that led to us getting our deals and putting ourselves in a position to actually be real estate investors, even though we're kind of full of shit for the first couple of months. But we were investors. We went and looked at houses. We didn't buy any of them, but we looked at a lot of houses.
But we felt hell of a lot better though too, right? Because we started going, and shout out to Kim. I remember that she was the one kind of helping us out back in Virginia. She was patient with us. We were going out there having conversations, looking at houses, analyzing deals, going MLS. So even though we didn't purchase that first house, we were getting into the routine, into the habits of what day to day, what a real estate investor would be doing.
Absolutely. And that's what I would say. If you're a W-2 investor and you're looking to crush your goals this year, make sure you're thinking about yourself. Let's say your goal is you want to save $1,000 a month. Well, what do people that save money do? They eat in the house, not out of the house. They probably need to save money on certain line items like food, like coffee, things like that. They also probably have a diligent tracked budget. Those need to happen. Those are the habits that are going to build you into that person that saves, $12,000 in a year, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of our lead, lag, and then how to execute. So X, if you want, we can jump into the how to set goals, how to execute goals, and how to track goals. If you're ready to roll.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So in your opinion, what's the best way? How do you do the best job at setting goals at the beginning of the year?
Ooh, good question. So for me, the way I like to do it, I like to just sit down and just write everything down. I don't worry about organizing anything. I just think through, okay, what are the things that I want to go after for this upcoming year? List it all out. And then from there, how do I start obtaining it? What do I have to do to get there? I'll go back to an example in a little sneak peek. One of my goals for 2023 is to lose 40 pounds. So there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to have to do because 40 pounds is quite a bit. So there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to have to be very diligent on. But I love to just write everything down, talk about it with friends, talk about it with you, Nick. I know we're having a conversation about it too. It really helps to tell people around you what you're going after, because guess what? You don't want to end up like a little punk that didn't end up doing the things that they were going to do, right? And we do that all the time. We're just like, what's your goal? It's like, oh, you said you were going to be here by this time frame. Like, what's going on? There's nothing worse when you're just like, you have to show up when there's people out there that are just like, all right, we're waiting for you, man.
Dude, especially with me, man, I'll call your ass out. I'll be texting you and be like, "Hey, so what's up with this Instagram story of pizza? That's not on the diet. We got to be losing 0.7 pound a week to make that math work. You know what I mean? No, it's true, man. I agree with you. You gotta make it worth the risk, right? You have to make it kind of hurt if you're not going to hit those goals. I think a lot of people tell themselves like, "I'm going to buy a house this year," but then they don't tell anybody else, and because they're worried about failure. You only fail when you quit. So don't quit. Keep working on it. I failed 2021, but if I would have quit, never gave up, and not got my license, I wouldn't be living in San Diego right now. So you only lose when you quit. So I would agree with you 100%, dude. Share your goals, get an accountability group. It could be your best friend. It could be a work buddy. It could be a spouse, a family member, a sibling, someone that's going to be honest with you and hold you accountable. I think that's great. So the only thing I'd add there is make your goals smart. So I don't know if the listeners have heard about this. I'm a huge fan of SMART goals. It's a huge thing in the business realm of like, hey, what gets measured gets managed. So SMART goals is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timed. So your goal should be specific: who, what, where, X, you want to lose 40 pounds. The measurables, you can't improve what you don't measure. So you're going to have metrics that you measure every single month, week, whatever. Hey, my waistline. Hey, my total body weight, my strength in the gym. Achievable. You wouldn't say, X, that you want to lose 40 pounds and gain 40 pounds of muscle, because that would be unachievable. But gaining 10 pounds of muscle and losing 40 pounds of fat is achievable, right? Relevant, so closely connected with your objective. I'm sure your objective is overall health, and you are looking to improve your overall health, so losing 40 pounds could help that. But if your goal was to lose 40 pounds and you're like, I want to enter in a competitive eating competition, that probably doesn't like line up very well with what your goals are. And then timed, like a completion date, right, to help hold you accountable. Set SMART goals. And the reason I say set SMART goals, those 5 factors should help you as we go down the funnel of how you create your lead metrics and your things to track to see if you're on par with your goals throughout the year. Because there's nothing worse than setting a goal January 3rd and then pulling that shit up November 15th. And you're like, oh, I fucked up. I don't have what I need to hit this goal. Damn, I suck. Because then you feel really bad. Take it from me.
I think, in my opinion, the most important letter of that SMART goals is T, time, because I can procrastinate so much. It's sometimes just human nature for you just wanting to put off certain things that you just don't want to do. But how many times have you been putting off something from work? You're just like, I don't want to do it. You do a little bit here and there. And then someone says, hey, I need this by tomorrow end of day. And guess what? Tomorrow end of day, it's absolutely done. Why? Because someone set a deadline on when that needed to happen. You have to do the same things for yourself as well. You need to set deadlines on when you want to do it. Yes, we're going to say, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds by the end of the year. That's great. I won't be able to do it if I start in October 23. Like, it's not straight. Yeah. So you got to break it out. Like, all right, cool. So that means I have to lose 3.5 pounds every month for 12 months next year. Cool. That sounds definitely a lot more obtainable than thinking through, okay, only 40 in the whole year.
Well, and you can build in your cycle, right? So you can build in like 2 months of heavy loss, a month of maintenance to see and just check back in your body, 2 months of heavy loss. So I think that's like an incredible way to do that. So now moving on to the execution piece, like how do you execute these goals? I'll kind of toss in my first thought is you need to have very relative points for measure. So what I will say is that M for me in SMART goals, it makes me feel very happy inside when I have measurable goals. For example, if you want to get promoted, that's a very general lag metric, right? A lag goal. How do you do that? Break it down. Okay, I need to meet with my boss every month to talk about my performance. Well, you can take that initiative and put that on their calendar. I need to hit all my performance metrics. You can check on those weekly and make sure that you're doing everything you need to get promoted. I need to have a mentor. You can have a mentor, call with them every 2 weeks. Make sure that you have some sort of mechanism to track that performance throughout the year, because what you can find is your daily tasks and your daily habits may be leading you down the wrong path. And to X's point, you don't want to look at the scale if you're trying to lose 30, 40, 50, 100, 10 pounds. You don't want to jump on the scale in October and be like, oh shit, I've gained weight over the last 10 months. I haven't lost weight. And then all of a sudden your goal is compacted to 2 months and you're probably going to do, fuck it. Like, does it really matter? I don't really need to lose that weight. I could just do it next year because we're good at procrastinating. So that would be my thing, is like, get a measurable thing to track to.
Yeah, that didn't happen to me last year. I don't know what you're talking about.
Shut up. I don't want to talk about this anymore. That was when I didn't get my damn license. I called you all upset and you're like, well, just fuck get it now. And I was like, oh, you're right, dog. Bye.
Well, like last year, for example, I trained for a half marathon. I've never done a half marathon before. And I was in really good shape for the most part leading up to that half marathon. And I did it in March 2022. Guess what happened after March 2022? I stopped running. I stopped doing all the things that I was doing. So then my weight started increasing a little by little again. So for next year, I'm setting up different type of marathons for me to do to keep me accountable. So I actually get there. So I'm going to do a half marathon next year. I'm going to do whatever the 50 miles, I think it's half marathon for like biking, 1.2 miles for swimming. So I'm going to do 3 half marathons.
Oh, you're going to do like a half triathlon?
So 2024, I want to do a half Ironman.
Oh, you're fucking insane, bro.
So in order to do that, I need to make sure that I can bike for 50 miles. I can swim for a mile, 1.2 miles. So this year or next year is going to be pretty telling. So stay tuned.
So would you say like your tip to execute your goals is to sprinkle in some motivation, like a reward or some sort of like competition to get yourself motivated?
Competition motivates me.
Yeah.
I would say reward doesn't motivate me. And the reason why is because I feel like if there's anything, I'm in a position, thankfully now, where if I want something, I can just go ahead and get it for the most part. So for me, it's not
huge
really
flex,
reward.
huge flex, but okay. Yeah.
Huge flex.
I got a bunch of houses, bro. Okay. I can buy whatever I want.
Well, it's a competition in me, right?
Yeah.
So if there's someone else also doing it,
Yep.
like I don't want to be that little punk. So for me, it's a combination of competition and slightly healthy ego that helps me, keep going.
I sense a revival of our weekly gym text messages that we had at the middle of last year before I went on my honeymoon. From like July to October, for the listeners, X and I were texting each other every day that we were committing to doing a workout plan together and doing everything. And X and I were lockstep until he injured his arm. And then we were good until then. He got hurt and then he stopped working out. And then I skipped workouts because I was like, oh, he hurt his arm. I don't have to work out because he's not going to text me and call me a little freaking baby for wanting to sleep in and not get up at 5 a.m.
Yep.
Like that motivated the shit out of me, knowing that you were going to talk shit to me if I didn't get it done. That is true. That like competition or that like accountability is huge.
There were times where I think either one of us text each other like, I'm not sure if I'm going to go today. Or like, we just sent a screenshot of our completed workout. Because I would go in the morning and you would go after work. And I'd be like, what? Like a screenshot. Why?
Yeah.
Like, why?
And then I'd see you like chest press 225 pounds and be like, this bastard's stronger than me too. Fuck that. I'm not going to let this happen.
I benched more than you this morning. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go bench. I'm going to get a spot. I'm going to go do that. Dude, so like you're competitive. I'm definitely one that like needs accountability. So I need a buddy like you to like hold me accountable. But you know what I really have tied my kind of goal setting to is reward. So for me, I love buying Lululemon pants. Everyone at work knows it. I'm going to get clowned on. I understand. But like, and I like nice things, but I'm broke. Well, I'm not broke. I'm like intentionally broke because I invest everything that I have. But I like nice things. So my goals, I think this year I'm going to tie to some sort of reward system. So like hit a certain goal, I'm going to go get myself a new outfit from Lululemon to work out in. You know what I mean? I hit a certain goal, I'm going to go get those new pair of Nike Dunks that I want. Like give myself some sort of incentive to then move toward something reasonable, not ridiculous. But I think that that's a huge piece. Because I also found last year I was pretty successful. I got in pretty good shape before the honeymoon. I think it's just because we had the honeymoon. Like that was the first time I've had visible abdominal muscles, and I wouldn't say abs because it was like kind of just outside. That's fine though. We're work in progress.
And in the right lighting, it was though.
The right lighting was good. Every selfie I sent you was in the right lighting, for sure. I was like that dude in the gym, just like 45 seconds. Like, oh, I bet he's sending him to a girl on Snapchat. No, it's my best friend. I record a podcast with instead.
Remember when you sent me that photo with the guy in the background?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. For the listeners, I caught someone mostly naked. It was like I had to apologize. I walked over. Hey, sorry, I was trying to take a selfie for my buddy at the gym. He just looked at me like, and I was like, I gotta go. I just like ran out of there. But yeah, like a little bit of reward, something I think that would make me kind of incentivized to do that. And if you're tracking and you're creating whatever that incentive is, so that's probably the tip, right? X is like create some sort of incentive, whether that be a reward, a competition, an accountability partner. Make sure you have something that is going to keep you honest to achieving that goal.
Yep.
All right, man. How do you track your goals? What's the vibe look like on those?
It's funny because, so before I jump into that, Nick, when you talk, just going back real quick on execution, the most important thing is to just get started. For me, I get stuck sometimes on how I want to track it, how it looks like visually. I spent $6 2 days ago on Etsy because I found like this habit tracker that I'm probably not going to end up using because I didn't like it. And for me, I get so fixated on how I'm going to I have all my goals already laid out. Yep. Now it's like, okay, what's the best way for me to actually track? So just get started and start organizing it however you want to do it. For me, I already have it kind of listed out on Word. I'm probably going to end up doing it in Excel. And also I have like time blocks and things on my calendar set up starting next year for how I'm going to start tracking it. There's also apps out there that you're able to, add those daily habits on there. But for me, the way that I'm going to do it, it's really going to be through time boxing and just Excel, just trying to tracking my goals there.
Yeah. I'm the same as you, dude. So I downloaded I wrote down all my lag metrics, and then I wrote down my lead metrics on how I'm going to get to those goals. And then I filled out my lineup, my daily checklist that basically says every day if I do all of these things, every week if I do all these things, every month if I do all these things, I will hit my goals, and it will hit my leads, I'll hit my lags. So I did that, and then I entered all of those into an app. So for me, listeners don't know this, or they do, I don't know. I can't remember if I said it because I have ADHD like a mofo, and I can't remember half the shit that I say. So I'm just like my dad in that aspect. But if I have an app that can trigger my dopamine response on my phone, I know I'll use it. And I know I'll use it because I used different apps in the past like that to do things like budget tracking, all this kind of stuff. So I have the app Habify. We're not sponsored. It was a one-time like lifetime purchase, and I can load all my apps into it. There are some faults. I wish it had a better to-do list on there. It doesn't really have one of those, but it's just more tracking. So I broke up all of my daily, weekly, monthly habits into the app, and then I set specific times. So I have a morning routine, and it has all my morning routine listed, and then I can go ahead and track it. What I like about this is I can export that data through a website to Excel. I am pretty decent with Excel because of my job, so I can literally create a pivot table of all of my tasks and say, okay, I crushed my real estate stuff, but I did really poor with my personal health. So I need to reallocate some time to my personal health to make sure that I'm staying balanced on all my goals that I want to achieve, which we'll cover here in a little bit. But that's what I would do. And I personally, if I let something sit for more than a week with my personality type, I forget about it. So I have programmed into my habits that every Sunday when I'm doing my reset day, I'm going to go in and check my progress on my daily tasks. And then I will check my progress to my lead metrics. And I'm not going to pay attention to my lag until the quarter. So every quarter I'll pay attention to my lag metrics and just make sure I'm on track and see if there's any adjustments I need to make. But that's how I'm doing it. So I'll do a weekly audit of my own daily tasks. I will do a quarterly audit of my lag metrics to make sure that I am trending toward the direction I need to for the year.
Love that. I'm a little bit different. Like I'm going to end up using the app that you shared with me, Nick, and I think it's a great way to track.
Sponsor us.
For me, there's a sponsor us, yeah, please. Start next. We'll stop cussing.
Yeah.
they there's so I have a lot of things going on. I know you do too, Nick. So for me, I've built in some flexibility, and what I mean by that is, you know, whatever my goals is, I'm giving myself the week to do it versus the day. Because I've noticed before in the past, sometimes I end up shutting down or I get really frustrated because I didn't do the one or two things that day. So for me, it's okay. I give myself the week to make sure those certain tasks are done. If I say I'm going to analyze 5 deals, it doesn't mean that I have to analyze 5 deals, all of it in one time on a Monday. I can go ahead and space it out. I can do 3 one day, 2 one, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. I'm building this flexibility because I already know my guardrails and I know how I operate. And I know that if I end up getting frustrated, it's like flipping the Monopoly board. Like, screw this. I'm so done. I'm tired of it. And then next day I'll start over.
Yep.
And then for me too, I'm going to designate certain days for certain things. Sometimes there's a lot going on where it's like, hey, can I really dedicate an hour for podcasting, an hour for real estate, an hour for commercial stuff, an hour for coaching? Like, it's a lot of things to do just on once. And then on top of that, not even your W-2 that takes up the majority of your day.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, hey, maybe Mondays and Tuesdays are going to be like, hey, maybe it's going to be all podcasting days, right? Wednesday's probably going to be all coaching days. Thursday's probably going to be all, commercial real estate related days. So you just have to figure out, and you can always adapt as your year is progressing. Yeah. Like if something's not working out, you can always make that change. But that's me new that I'm going to go ahead and try in 2023.
Yeah, no, I like that approach too, especially like the days and separating it out. What I'll say to the audience, man, and I think this goes for everything in your life. Whatever you're going to be the most consistent at, that's what you should do. So if you're going to be the most consistent separating out, time blocking your days, do that. If you're going to be most consistent tracking everything down to the minute detail on a daily basis, do that. Whatever is going to allow you to be the most consistent, you're going to have the most success with. And I found that true in working out, man, because I was super inconsistent when I did body part splits. I would crush it for like 3 months, be like super into it, get hella strong, feel really good. And then all of a sudden I would get off track and I'd be like, I skip a leg day. Then I'm like, well, I skip legs. I'm going to skip back and bi. And it's like, well, I skip back and bi. I don't want to hit just chest and try this week. So I'd skip chest and try. So I switched to a full body workout 3 to 4 days a week. And I hardly miss now because I'm hitting the whole body at once. And if I miss a workout, it's just a workout versus missing that entire body set for the week and thinking it's not worth it to finish out the week we're working out. So that's consistent for me. But I know you, X, you love doing your body part splits because you love that chest press and you love being able to throw up 245 pounds on the bar. And so it's completely different. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And, two things that I want to say for our audience is if you're not used to habit tracking, if you're not used to goal setting, start off small. Mm-hmm. Right. Go ahead and think about those 2 or 3 things you want to go after for 2023 and then just start there. If you feel like that's even a lot to think about, maybe break it up into quarters. Right. I know The Intentional Journal by Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets. He has that journal set up from essentially every 3 months. Right. So if there's goals out there that you feel like are definitely attainable with 3 months, go ahead and do that. Knock those out, then go to the next one. Right. It's going to be very beneficial. Kind of think about it that way. The other piece too is know your limits and don't try to do everything at once. I have said that I want to work out 5 times every week, but I have to be very intentional sometimes of I may need some more rest than I'm anticipating. So I have to lower that before, right? Or I might need more sleep. So don't sacrifice sleep. Don't sacrifice your health and other things if you're going after like, I want to analyze 20 deals every single day, or I want to do whatever it is career-wise. Make sure you're also keeping track of how you're doing, how you're feeling, because it's very easy to sacrifice sleep, sacrifice time for loved ones to kind of go after your goals. When the reason why you're doing this goals to begin with is because of your loved ones, right? So it's something that I've definitely fallen into kind of that trap before in the past.
Yeah, you don't like to grocery shop when you're hungry, right? Because you end up buying a bunch of crap. You probably don't want to set goals when you're feeling the most fired up and ambitious. Because you're probably going to set some pretty unrealistic goals. I would almost say set the goals when you're fired up and ambitious. And then when you start to feel like shit, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do anything. Take a look at your goals. What's like the worst you could do, right? What's the least that you could do? And I think if you can set your goals to work there, you're going to be fine. And you won't bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah. And sometimes you might be 3 months in and you're going to be like, you know what? This goal no longer makes sense for me, or I don't want this anymore. That's okay.
Yep.
Drop it. Don't let it just linger there, because it's going to be draining you, and it's probably going to take away your power and your energy from other things you can be doing.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. Anything else, X, before we get out of here?
Pretty much it, man. I'm ready. I'm definitely excited for the next episode to talk about our own personal goals, because we're pretty much going to be opening up and kind of sharing with everyone here what we're going after. And we talk about accountability. I mean, we're pretty much sharing this with everyone that's listening to the podcast. So we pretty much have no reason or excuse to not do them. So yeah, it'll be nice.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we are your W2 Amigos. We really appreciate you guys listening. We would love, if you haven't already, please leave us an honest rating and review. It really helps us grow the podcast and be able to get some more eyes and ears on us. If you are looking to reach out to us, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, we are the W2 Amigos. Please reach out to us and let us know how we can better help you if you like the episodes. We've gotten a lot of feedback through text messages and Instagram DMs recently on some episodes. So just really appreciate you guys all for listening. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Trying to get a hold of me, you know the deal, the 5 Family on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're looking for bigger pockets investment strategy, hit me up. I'm there. What about you, X?
Xavier Marin _ at Instagram and TikTok. Talk to you guys soon.